Shibarium's latest and greatest. Today we're going to go over an article talking about the latest news about Shibarium beta version being released. We're also going to do some price prediction and technical analysis not only on Bone but also Shib to see how all this is correlating with the prices and much more. Stick around to the end of the video. Welcome back, Moneybags Rico. Let's start off with this tweet right here. We are thrilled to announce that the Shibarium public beta will be launching this week. Make sure you're following our official socials. This is going to be something very big, and I want the community to step in to make sure you guys can help share this video, because you know that there's going to be a lot of scammers that try to tap in and take advantage of this opportunity, and they speak about that in the article. But let's continue. We got over the next few days as we reveal all the details on how to access the beta website. Hail Shib. So if you're part of this Shib army, go ahead and like and subscribe, leave some bullish comments down below, and share this video, because we're going to make sure that our community stays safe in this space, right? So let's head over to this, right? We got this by AMB Crypto. Shiba Inu announces launch of Shibarium public version. We're going to go over this quick little article right here, and then we're going to go to the price prediction of Shib and Bone, and we're also going to use some indicators that I found over the last few days that I've been practicing with, and I kind of found to like these. So let's start off with this. We got Shiba Inu has announced the launch of its Shibarium public beta platform. The platform made the announcement on Twitter with the same claiming that the beta website will be launched sometime this week. So it's been a while since, we actually got a date, and I know the community's got to be very happy about this, because, you guys have been pressuring Satoshi about getting a date out. And now this week, they said this week, there's going to be a beta version for Shibarium. I think this is very bullish news for the Shib army, and I hope that you guys push these videos out, those tweets, anything going on, because this is exactly what we've been waiting for. So we got the platform aims to be a layer 2 solution that will provide the Shib community with a variety of benefits, such as faster and cheaper transactions, increased scalability, and enhanced security. The Shib team spent months developing and testing before releasing the public beta. So, obviously I know a lot of us wanted it to be released. We were looking for it, and we kept getting promised maybe later on, and not really promises, but just speculating and a little bit of hype behind things. But you know what? That's how this game goes. You got to keep the community entertained. And now we finally have some meat on the bone where we can nibble on something as far as this week, the beta version is going to be out. This one right here is very important. That's why I'm going to ask you guys to like, subscribe, leave some comments down below, and share this video, and also share this article right here by AMB Crypto, and you'll see why. We got here, it should be noted that the beta version of Shibarium is only for testing purposes and should not be used for commercial transactions. The team has also cautioned users to be wary of scammers who may attempt to take advantage of the public beta launch. We know that this is going to happen. If you want to keep our slate clean and help maybe new people coming into crypto and not have a bitter taste in their mouth, let's share this video, share the article, and make sure we spread the message to let these people know that some people are going to try to take advantage, right? Next, we have the Shib community is ecstatic about the public beta launch, which they see as a significant step forward for the project. Shibarium's release is expected to increase Shib adoption and cement its position as a major cryptocurrency. To be honest with you, I think Shib is a major cryptocurrency already, but it's nice that we're going to have some utility behind it and something that'll bring a lot more exposure to the Shib army and Shib and Bone, the whole ecosystem overall. Shibarium is built to enable developers to create fast, low, and highly scalable applications. It has also spawned a new ecosystem of tokens, custom tokens that can be traded for gas using Bone. And that's why we're going to do some price prediction and technical analysis on Bone. And we're also going to check out some pretty cool indicators. If you guys are interested in that, like I said, stick around to the end. We got the impending launch contributed to a significant hike in the price of Bone. The token was trading at $1.72, which is a little bit higher right now. It's fluctuating. The following hike was 11% over the last 24 hours. So that's pretty bullish if you ask me. I believe that it's going to continue to go up, and we'll check that out as well. We'll also take a look at Bitcoin and see what's going on. This last but not least, it'll allow us to grow Shibarium's reach with professional companies and allow us to reset our relationship with businesses that we've connected to in the past. Finally, it'll help us find the right validators, posted Satoshi. So shout out to Satoshi, getting the Shib army what they wanted, and some news on this. Looking at Bitcoin's price before we get to Bone and Shib, obviously we see Bitcoin trading at 22,000. We got Jerome Powell saying some things that actually affected the whole market overall. Bitcoin just by a little bit, not that much. We're still like in this very narrow range trading. And we can see that right here, some of these indicators, but we're just looking at Bitcoin's price. I had these up, so I thought I'd bring it up where we're at. This is the 200 moving average. I don't have it on there right now, but check out the last videos I did on Bitcoin's price prediction, and you can see as long as we're trading within this range right here, which is that 20,000 and at 25,379, we're still really good. So let's head over to Bone, right? Because Bone is doing exceptionally well. We see that it was 11% hike, and we see that it's holding these prices, right? So we'll talk about a little bit these indicators in just a bit. Let's go ahead and hide them for a second so that we can actually see what's going on. So let's go ahead and do this. We're on the daily chart, right? So we're going to get our horizontal line out and see where it's going to be our point of attacks and see what we got going on. This was a section right here. Remember that prior resistance becoming future support. We have that happening right there. Kind of the same thing right here, that resistance. Let's go ahead and mark this up so we can see what's going on. So we got this resistance, right? Right here. And then we got the support followed after the all-time high coming right back down right there. Now the same thing happens again. The same line, the same horizontal line gets respected, which is $1.15, gets rejected right here. We're going to get this horizontal line and set it up. Prior resistance right here. This is this section right here. This is a false breakout to the bottom. This is this zone kind of right here. What's going on? Remember that prior resistance becoming future support. But let's go ahead and scoot over a little bit and get an idea of what's going on. Let's go ahead and mark up the all-time highs as well, and then we'll talk about these indicators and see what's going on, and we'll check out what range we're in right now. Let's get our arrows back out. So we got that prior resistance, future support. We have where we came right back down, hit this resistance, which is something that we respected in the past. And now we're holding on to this once again, right? We're within this range right here, which is $1.15. There's another one right here, right there. Let's go ahead and mark that up right there. This is the range that we're in right now, and we're currently going to be paying attention to. So let's go ahead and put this up arrow right here. We got this support right here on the $1.50, which you guys know I talk about it on the channel all the time. It's give or take. It says $1.4799, but basically it's $1.50. $1.50, $2. These are the psychological barriers. If you look at where we're tapping out right now, it's right at that $2 mark. The wicks might pass right by that, but crypto is highly volatile, and that's why these candlesticks are not always perfect, right? Keep that in mind. But we have the support happening right here. We'll go ahead and look at the resistance just so we can continue to practice this right here. We got the resistance to happen right here, right at the $1.50 mark, where we tapped out, kind of pulled right back, broke up to the upside, came right back down, made a support, and now we're within this $1.50 to $2 range. If you look, it's right on the money around that $2 psychological range, and we can see that right here. Okay, so these are the recent all-time highs. We can see that, you know, our Bone is doing relatively well. Now it's up to $1.74. I believe that Bone is going to be breaking these all-time highs. Now, when we start to implement these indicators, they start to tell a little bit of a different story, right? Because, you know, we got the buy and sell. But I also want to note that these indicators are not always 100%, right? Especially on different time frames. So you want to be cautious with this. This is a perfect example that it's letting you know to buy. It's kind of giving you those buy signals. But what it's really telling you is to get ready, right? And this one's called the Extraordinary 15. As a matter of fact, let's go over here and show you my indicators that I got right here. These are some of the new ones that I've been playing with, some of these strategy ones, and implementing them and layering them in different ways, because everybody's going to look at stuff differently and interpret it in different ways after you learn it. So, you know, this is just for education purposes only. This is not financial advice, but I wanted to start bringing some other indicators into the videos to see if somebody can understand it in a different way and make it a little bit easier now that they have these buy and sell signals. So I've been going through basically what's going on with these, and what I've noticed is when you see these green candles being built up and telling you to go long, it's kind of giving you that warning, right? Now we added this WTX on the bottom. Like I said, this is going to be this one. So we got the Extraordinary, right? And then we got this WTX. That's what you're going to type in, and you'll see this wave trend oscillator. This is pretty cool. I really like this one because when you layer certain indicators, and you don't have to use these indicators, right? You might find some that you like, but try to find one that matches up on the top that can give you the signal also on the bottom, right? An indicator and an oscillator. So we have our indicator on the top, the Extraordinary. It's kind of giving us that warning that the buyers are starting to push up, right? They're starting to push up. And you usually will be able to tell this by the volume, but crypto's very volatile. So I wanted to try some new things, and that's why you don't see the volume down here. So it's letting us know that buyers are stepping in, that the sellers are losing that power. But with the WTX on the bottom, now we have this buy signal right here, right? Now, this is where you actually would, what you would do, not financial advice, you would basically pay attention to the first candle that breaks. The first candle, the first body candle, the green one that breaks the last red ones. Okay, so right here we got the buy signal, right? And we have a nice highlighted green candle. I'll show you another example in a second, letting us know that we could step in. But if you notice, these red candles did not break, and this green candle right here did not break the body of this red candle. It did with the wick. That does not count. The body of the candle, the green candle, has to break past the last red candle. So that's why this said buy right now, position your buys, but you want to wait and use all these kind of, fundamentals or whatnot, and these charts and the candles all together, right? And we can see that right here, the minute this green candle broke past, the body of the green candle broke past this red one, that's where we start to see some uptrend, right? And it's still letting us know that we're all good. And another thing, that we're already oversold. So we know that we have a lot more upside potential than a downside potential. Another thing that's good to note with these, and might be good to do every once in a while, we are on the daily, is put some horizontal lines on where it usually likes to travel down to. So, just so you can have an idea. So I would do something like this basically. So putting this horizontal line right there and zooming out. So this one would be right here. And this give you an idea of how high it's really willing to go, right? Give you kind of that range within this oscillator. So right here we have this where we're already knowing that this is about as low as it likes to go, because some other ones like to go even lower than this. Okay, let me move this out the way. Okay, they actually like to, go a little bit lower, but right now we see that bone is trading and it likes to stay kind of within this range right here. This is as low as it likes to go. This is as high as it likes to go. So we know that we got a lot more upside potential, and let it grow. Note that this is on the daily chart. I think it's a little bit harder to call this on the dailies, because right here it doesn't tell us to sell, and you basically will be having to hold your breath right here, and that's kind of difficult, right? Because there's this pullback, you're not sure what's going on, but it didn't give you a sell signal. This is where I'm trying to learn to trust this a little bit more, to understand that this oscillator knows what's going on by the algorithm that it's built on, that it knew not to sell, not to put a sell signal, and let it just kind of ride down, and more buyers stepped up, leading up to a nice little pump. Now, it's also good to know that right here it told us to sell. This is it letting us, the sells are coming in. There's selling pressure, stepping in. And it's kind of letting us know that it's time to almost exit. We see some red dots. They also are followed by these dark red candles. If you see, that's why I like this one. This is pretty cool. So that dark red candle letting you know to exit. To be honest with you guys, me personally, I would have got out here. Obviously, there's more of a pump, and I noticed that even though these red ones start to come in, there's usually still like a little pump being left over or whatnot. So on the daily chart, we see that nothing's telling us to buy. We got a sell, 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 sell. But that's why you have to have fundamentals in mind as well, because the oscillator doesn't know that Shibarium is coming out. The oscillator doesn't know that it's going to be the main token used on Shibarium's blockchain, and it doesn't know how big the Shibarmy is. So it's not taking all these things into account, and that's where you have to, as a responsible trader, if you choose to trade, take all these things into account, right? So let's go into the lower time frames, excuse me, and then we'll see how it works a little bit better, right? This is on the 4-hour chart. We can see right here where it's letting us know, okay, almost time to buy, almost time to buy. You layer it with this oscillator on the bottom, and now we get that buy signal. Good to note that. Look at how short this is. And this is going to take a little bit of a level of trust, because it told us to buy, it didn't tell us to sell. Normally right here, that first red candle on the Heikinashi, I would have said, okay, it's time to exit. But this is so, it just doesn't, it's not biased. It has no emotion. So it's pretty easy for it to hold through a downtrend and kind of just accept all of this, because it knows all these buys are coming in. That's what I really like about this extraordinary strategy. When you actually go to the indicators and you put in the WTX, it'll put both of those at the same time. So check that out. It's something really good. We're still going to check out Bone's prices, or Sheep's price in a sec, but let's go over this just a little bit more on a lower time frame on the hour and see exactly what's going on. So we have some action right here, right? We got the sell that it told us to do on the hourly time frame. And right here, it told us to buy on the higher side. So that's pretty interesting. And then it started to go up and let us know it was time to sell. It did let us know early on that the buys were coming in. So I like this indicator a lot, because it's basically letting you know that the buys are starting to step in. No matter what the candles are doing or the trend is doing at the moment, there's a lot more buys coming in than anything else. And we can see that right here, because it told us to buy. And then it said, hey, it's almost going to be time to sell. Even though we didn't get a red dot, notice the green dot, and then on the sells, we're going to have red dots like this one right here and with a highlighted red candle. But even though we didn't get up to that red zone, the overbought zone, it didn't put a red dot up there, but it still knew that there was a lot of sells coming in and said, hey, you might want to get out. Sure enough, you step out, you follow this oscillator down at the bottom. Once it reaches all the way down here on the hourly chart, boom, you get one green highlighted candle letting you know, hey, the buyers are here. And note that the green buyers are not here. So somebody just stepped in. And I think this is where you start to take into account the articles that we read earlier, the YouTube videos that you guys are going to help me share and help the YouTube algorithm push it out by smashing the like button, subscribing, and leaving some bullish comments down below. Let me know if you guys like these indicators, what indicators you guys want to practice with. And if you guys want to do a live stream where I'm looking at whatever token you want to look at, or we're just looking at SHIB, whatever it might be, and we're just having fun together with these indicators and practicing. So this is a lot of FOMO coming in because we didn't have a lot of buyers. It's just one big buy stepping in. But right here, even if you would have followed this indicator right here where it said buy and you could hold, trust the process, boom, it's letting you go all the way up right here, all the way. So this is from, let's see, a price of, look at this, $1.38 all the way to, we'll call it by the body, $1.84. That is very impressive. Then it lets us know. And see right here, I would have got out. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. This pump, I would have got in and seen this first red candle using the Heikin-Ashi candles, right? If I put the regular candles on, it's a little bit harder for me at least. That's why I said everybody has their own style where it says red, green, red, green, red, green, red, green, red, green. When I put it on the Heikin-Ashi candles, it lets me kind of identify a good exit. And prior, I would have just got out right here. This, I kind of see the trend stepping to the right, which I'll show you on the Bitcoin chart. I have Bollinger Bands on there, and I'll show you how you can kind of, you'll start to notice how when things step to the right. So right here on this first red candle, I said, oh, it's done. Time to get out. But it knew to still hold on. And it was just a pullback and then it ramped back up. Now I started put these red arrows right here letting us know, hey, sellers are stepping in. And as you can tell, it's pretty accurate because now we're going right back down. We didn't go all the way to the overbought section. So that means anything can happen. Some more FOMO can step in and pump it right back up from the middle section, going back up to, you know, the top side. But overall, I would definitely wait every time until it's oversold and the overbought. You don't have to wait till all the way overbought, but once you start getting close to that section, noticing that it doesn't have to get all the way to the overbought, that this is not happening as much as the other ones, right? We see that it does go into the red, but we also have to note that it tends to step, it can come down around this 44 range. So I would keep that in mind and probably do my sell somewhere around here as well. Once it's going up, noticing that that's the way that that bone is moving. So let's go ahead and zoom out. We're going to go to SHIB's prices right now, and then we're going to show the Bollinger Bands as well. Let me know if you guys want to do some live streams with these indicators. So like that, we can practice them. You guys can have questions live, and you guys can just see live trading as it's happening. So let's go ahead and get this done really quick. So we got the same indicators, right? Let's go ahead and lower this, exit that. Okay, let's hide these first. It's important to also identify the support and resistance and get an idea of stuff because they're just giving you kind of a lens of what's going on, right? So let's go ahead and get the horizontal lines, of course, right? And we see this section right here, these prior resistance back here. Let's go ahead and get this marked up. So I see that support right there, right? And then we talk about it a lot, that Wyckoff distribution pattern. It's not perfect. Obviously, this is not what it really looks like, but we can see where there's this prior resistance and then some kind of, you know, massive pump, and you know, it's hard to identify that it's going to come down. We forget about it because the euphoria is so high. We think that it's never going to come down, but it always comes back to wherever that prior resistance. And I'm telling you, find a chart that it does not do this, where it broke a prior resistance, something that it was trying to get past, and then it did not make a support on it later on. It just continues to happen no matter what. So let's continue right here. Let's go ahead and, this is that trend right there. Mark it up like that. This is that new range. And then there's also this one right here. This is going to be the range that we're trading within right here that we want to break out. And I'm going to show you right now by the arrows where they're at. So we got that support right there. Okay, now let's get these resistance. The resistance, right? It didn't reach all the way up there, but it wanted to. That resistance. So right now, let's zoom in, and we know that we got to break free of between 1139 and 1751. So 1751 is going to be that price that we want to break out of. And that'll push us to the 2000s, leading SHIB to go even higher. Then the next range will be from the 2000 to 3122. This is on the daily chart, okay? Keep in mind, we're going to layer these charts up. Let's go ahead and bring this one back out now that we got an idea of, spread this out like this. now that we have an idea of where the support and resistance are, right? Oh, I needed that. Okay, let's bring this out. So we see that we got the sell signal and it's still holding true, right? And before you start just jumping into any indicator and trusting it as full truth or whatever, watch the charts for a while and see if it does continue kind of to repeat what it's doing, right? I think it's important to do that. We got some buy signals down here. Buy, buy. We knew the buys were stepping in. We knew the buys were stepping in with the green arrows, kind of letting us know like, hey, we're about to pump basically. And what do you do when it's giving you these signals? You don't jump in right away, not even when the first green dot comes in, right? Because notice these are all red candles. Even when these arrows start to step in, all red candles. Now, granted, remember, for it to look like this, you have to put the Heiken Ashi candles on. We'll change them up really quick one more time, just so you can see the difference, right? So right here, we got the same buy signals. We got green, red, green, red, green, red. That's a lot. It's already a lot, especially with crypto, that all the stuff we got to digest. These help you out a lot better. We got that buy signal. These are all red candles in reality. So we see the buy signal. We don't buy. We see the green arrows. That's giving us that warning that buyers are starting to step in. Get your hotkeys ready or whatnot for those who are trading gap and go style. And we're going to wait for what? The first green candle that breaks above the last red one. If you note, when these green ones came out, they were not big enough to break past the last red one. Not this one, not this one, not this one. This one, technically it did a little bit right past it, but it's kind of like got a little wick on it where it's trying to confuse you a little bit. But in reality, that's why we have these indicators and oscillators to help us kind of give us a scope of what's really going on. Because if you didn't have these indicators or oscillators, this would be a kind of iffy candle. You would almost have to wait till this candle came out. This is the most bullish candle. That is clearly the body of the candle breaking past the last red candles, right? It cannot just be just a wick. And this one's kind of tricky because there's a little wick right there and it's not picture perfect. So keep that in mind. Now, if we follow this is on the daily chart for SHIB. We have this ride all the way up from the price of 792 all the way up to 1243. All right, so that's what's happening. And when it told us to sell, this is what I like about this. This is pretty cool, and I've been practicing this and over the last few days. This lets you know ahead of time, these arrows right here. If these arrows were not present, we would have had to wait till we got the first green dot or the first red dot, and this candle was highlighted red, but it was already going to start going down. And then we also have this letting us know to short. This is a good time for us to short. And these red arrows let you know that the sellers are already stepping in, that they're starting to push, they want to push the price down. And then you confirm that with this highlighted red candle, the red dot that comes with that highlighted red candle. And we see the price kind of moving around, kind of up and down. And of course, there's these catalysts with, bone and Shibarium. So there's going to be some kind of like, stuff that kind of doesn't make sense. You can only do technical analysis so far to a certain extent, and where FOMO or FUD is affecting what's going on with the price, and you got to take that into consideration. But we got all these sells stepping in, and it knew, even though it pumped back up, it told us, no, here goes another sell signal. No matter what, we're still on the selling side. And it knew that even if you got in a short, excuse me, even if you got in a short, it didn't tell you to exit the short. Even though it pumped up, it knew to just sit tight, don't worry about it, and wait for it to come back down. If you would have got in on any of these shorts, if we look straight across, let's say you would have got in on the first short right here that said, hey, short it. The prices are going down. And then said, hey, might be a good shorting opportunity. We would be up right now because we can see that the price is down from that last indicator to let you know about the shorts. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I really like these. I want you guys to let me know down at the bottom if you want to learn more about these. If you guys want to watch them live, we're going to go over the Bollinger Bands on Bitcoin really quick. Obviously, there's a lot of news going on, Jerome Powell, and it's affecting the overall market. Bone is doing really good. And that's why community is the best utility, because it helps out in the end. Here we have SHIB on the 4-hour chart. It told us to buy. We got a green dot. Price came down. It did not shake this indicator whatsoever. This, I'll be honest with you, would have probably shook a lot of people out. It would have shook me out the minute I would have saw the first red candle on the Heiken Ashi. I would have said, the trend was good with this first candle. And you can see that it happens time and time again. Why did the trend change? This green candle, the body of it is bigger than the last red candle. That is your entry. That's where you enter. That's the gap and go style trading. And it lets you know, this is good. Right here, the first red candle, I would say, time to get out. It's not going to pump up like I thought it was. This down here, if I would have been using like the stock RSI, which we're going to take a look at on Bitcoin, probably would be crossing over. I would have said I'm out. But this indicator is keeping us cool. Even during this downtrend, I would have for sure sold anywhere up in here and not jump back in on this for sure or anything. But anywhere in this range, I would have said, oh, it's definitely done, right? It's not gonna, but it knows that it's gonna curl back up, and it's smart because look, it says buy, 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 and it's going straight up. We already know that we're in that oversold section, so what goes up must come down, and what goes down must go up. So we're in the down section, and it must go up from here. Obviously, something can happen. That's why none of this is financial advice, because anything can happen in crypto, anything can happen in stocks. Okay, this is the one with that oscillator. Let's go to this one right here. So this is Bitcoin with the Bollinger Bands and the stock RSI. I think it's good to always have a screen of Bitcoin on the side because Bitcoin's price fluctuation affects the overall crypto market, right? We all know that. But if we check this out with the stock RSI that a lot of people are familiar with, one of my favorites, it's right up there with the MFI that I also like to use, the Money Flow Index. But we can see buy signals, the crossing over of the stock RSI. So two indicators confirming your idea, right? And we have the body of the candle, again, breaking higher than the last red candle. That is your entry. And now with these indicators, even though now we get into the overbought section really quick, I'll be honest with you. This trade right here would have only looked as long as this for me. This small little window, doing a trade right there because it's red and then we're overbought. And I would have been like, okay, it's probably going to come back down. But this one right here, the extraordinary oscillator, that's the one that comes with the WTX. I wanted to layer it with a stock RSI and see how consistent it was when you're matching these together and see if it corrected any of my mistakes in the past where using only the stock RSI, you would be like, okay, it's overbought. The blue crossed over to orange. It's coming back down. I'm out this trade. This indicator is basically saving you trading fees because it knew not to get out the position. It said, hey, buys are coming in. Look at these green arrows. Buys, buys. There's a buying pressure, buying pressure. Look at this little trend. And considering the stock RSI is up here, it shows how the stock RSI is not 100%, right? This was pretty eye-opening to me the last few days because this right here would have told you to get out for sure, and you would have just waited to get back in on this oversold section. But if you look, that oversold to overbought didn't really even last that long. This is where you have very small trades and also jumping in and out more than you need to. Right here, we see that the stock RSI would have not been 100%, letting us know what was going on. But this extraordinary indicator that comes with the WTX said, no, buys are coming in. You're going to hold this position. We're going long. Long, long, long 3 times, and it's holding, and next thing you know, boom, a nice pump. That is pretty amazing to me if you ask. Let me know if you guys like these indicators. One more thing before I head out and you guys smash the like button and stuff like that. On the Bollinger Bands, this is a great little trick for you guys to notice when the trend is about to change, okay? And if you notice when we get on top of this upper line, right, this upper Bollinger Band, we have the bottom Bollinger Band in blue, the middle one in orange, and the top one in blue as well. The minute, notice how we're just trading kind of sideways, the minute the candles get on top, so the body of the candle, be iffy if it gets just a wick, right? If it's just a wick, it's going to let you know that something's happening. But when the body of the candle is on top of that line, the Bollinger Band, it is going up, up, up. The minute these bodies, and we can see right here, if we zoom in, the body of the candle, this little corner was still technically touching. So we can, but it also lets us know that we're not as bullish as before. It's not as powerful, not as many buyers. And it lets you know that the trend is about to change because it goes on the line, somewhat on the line, stepping off the line. That should tell you right away, if you're using the Bollinger Bands, that the trend is about to reverse. And we can see that with the continuation, the wicks were touching it a little bit, but the minute it steps all the way off the line, notice there's no wick, no body of the candle on top of that upper Bollinger Band, the trend goes to the right. We start to consolidate. And if you're going to try to look at this and you're going over it, just go back, right? History repeats itself. So let's go back and see if this is true, right? Where if it's on the line, this continues to happen. So you got to see proof of this actually working to make sure that you guys can use it as some viable information. So we got right here. Notice they were not on the line, so nothing significant happened, but on the line, still touching the line a little bit. Kind of like on the other one, just a wick right underneath there. We step to the right. Okay, let's do it. There was one more right here. This is not a very powerful trend. We got on the line, somewhat on the line, just a wick. The candle step to the right. Neither the wick or the body is touching the upper Bollinger Band. We step to the right, start to consolidate or go downward. And the same thing goes, because what goes up must come down. This is basically a number 8. This is what's happening nonstop. When you're confused in a chart, just picture this. That's what's happening nonstop. It's just repeating itself. And this Bollinger Band, if you can understand when it's going up and these are on the line, on the line, on the line, well, then you can understand that we're going to be in a downtrend when the red candles are also on the line, on the line, on the line. And the minute the first red candle steps off the line, you go, something's going on there. I'm pretty sure the trend is going to reverse. And then that's where other indicators come into play, as we can see that the minute this steps off the line, the stock RSI crossed over. The blue line crossed over the orange, and we were in the oversold area where it told us, hey, this is a trade right here. The other indicator didn't, but this is the way that I would trade before I found this indicator. I would say, okay, off the line, green candle, stock RSI crossed over, boom, take the trade, ride this up. First candles that start looking weak, not landing on the line of the Bollinger Band, I exit. I don't do plays bouncing off the middle one, and sometimes it'll bounce on the middle, it'll go up, come down, touch the middle one, and then go back up. That's where it gets really sketchy, right around that area. And we can see this perfect example right here of the downtrend on the line, on the line, on the line, kind of stepping off, but selling pressure, and also letting us know that we're oversold, but on the line, on the line, on the line, just nonstop. And the minute it steps off, it kind of has that pump. And even this oscillator had picked it up as well right there. So let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. These indicators that I brought out. Let me know if there's some indicators that you want me to check out. Let me know if we should go live and just watch some of these tokens live, watch Shibarium, Bone, and we can just basically look at the prices and how they're moving overall. Let's look at Bone one more time before we get out of here. This is on the daily. Let's see what trades are possible, and let you know the trend before I get out of here. So we got the 1 hour chart. So on the 1 hour chart, we got the selling going on, and we're going to be looking around this $1.50 mark. Yeah, I would pay attention to making sure if you can get in from the bottom, those who are trying to gap and go. Obviously, holding this long term could be very lucrative considering the amount of people, the Shiba Army, and what Shibarium is going to bring to the table. But those who are trading on a daily trade, I would keep an eye on it, pulling all the way back down and making sure. Let's go down to the 45-minute chart, see what we got going on. So we still got it, basically a downtrend, selling, 30-minute. We got sells, right? We got selling pressure, 15-minute. The 15-minute one is pretty golden. We got some buying pressure stepping in. So always check on the 15-minute chart. If you're going to go long, check on the 15-minute chart. Make sure it's green with the Heikinashi. Do not trade a long position on the red 15-minute candle. You're going to be swimming against the current. It's going to be very hard. You might hit, but most likely you're going to be swimming against the current. It's going to be very hard. Wait till the 15-minute candle is green, where then you can start looking in the lower time frames and say, okay, I want to take a position down here. So let's see. I know I said I was going to get out of your guys' hair. So down here, okay, so right here is okay, so let's go to the 15-minute chart. 1 second. So we'll be in this section around here. We can see this kind of picking up right here, the buys, that same area right there on the lower time frame. So this is what's happening right here. But we had a red candle, the next one being green. This is where it starts to look good, where you're like, okay, now we got a green 15-minute candle. I'll look at the lower time frames and see what kind of position I can take, layering it up to the 3-minute chart. We got the Bollinger Bands on here as well. Let's hide these just so it looks a little bit clearer. Yeah, we got this right here, all looking kind of bullish. If you ask me, we have not been technically all the way into the overbought section. Let's go to the 5-minute. Okay, so we got buying pressure, but I don't see, look at these red dots right here, and I don't see our green dot yet. So I would play this one pretty cautious, obviously, because there's a lot of FOMO and stuff like that. But if you're going to hold it long term, considering that Shiba is going to come out, I suspect that this is going to be very easily well over $2, maybe even the $5 range right when it launches. But we'll see. That's all speculation, not financial advice. But I do want you guys to share this video if you guys liked it. Let me know down in the comments what you guys want to learn, what tokens you want to look at. If you guys want to do a live stream where we watch these charts live on whatever token you want, let me know. And if you guys can't do that, continue to come back and experience the abundance of money with me. Until next time, you guys know what it is.